Sketch the graph of y equals x times x minus 1, x plus 1, and y equals x, and calculate the coordinates of the points of intersection. Okay, so let's just start one step at a time. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the graph of this. It's a cubic graph because I've got an x multiplied by x multiplied by x. It gives us an x cubed. Okay, so I'm going to say my y-intercept is where x equals 0, which means y equals, I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger and I can make it smaller again at the end. Y equals 0 times 0 minus 1, 0 plus 1. Anything times 0 is 0, so the y-intercept will be at 0. My x-intercept is where y equals 0. If y is 0, then it means x minus 1, x plus 1 equals 0. Three different answers. X is 0, x is 1, or x is negative 1. Right, so x equals 0, or x equals 1, or x equals negative 1, and it's the null law that I apply there. I know that this is a positive cubic function because I've got an x times an x times an x, that's positive x cubed, so I know that the shape of my graph is going to finishing in my first quadrant like that. Okay, so let's go and draw that graph. I can draw that graph. My y-intercept is at 0, which means there need to be an x-intercept 0 there as well. X at 1 and x at negative 1. So my graph is going to look like this because it's positive, coming down and going up. Okay, I'm just going to quickly redraw that, only because I saw now that I have not drawn it properly. So that's how the graph is going to look like. My second graph, let's make that green, is y equals x. Now y equals x, what I do know is when it goes to the point 0, 0, and it goes to the point 1, 1. So everybody should know by now that it's going to go from 45 to negative 45 degrees like this. That's how my graph is going to look like. Going through 1, 1 and 1, negative 1. Oosh, that's not right. 1, negative 1 is here somewhere. So what I need to know is I need to know what is these intercept points. So what are these intercept points? So where do they intercept? What's my x and y value? That means that's where the two graphs are equal to each other. I'm going to work in red because that will give me my red spots. So where they are equal means that is where x minus 1, that's nasty, x minus 1, x plus 1 is going to equal to x. So that is where these two y values, that's where the two y values are going to be equal. It means that is where those x values are like that. Now again, don't divide by x. Please don't divide by x. You're going to make a mess. What I'm going to do is I am going to expand my brackets first. That's going to be x times x. I'm going to have x. X times x is x squared, plus x minus x is 0. 1 times plus 1 is negative 1, and that's going to be equal to x. Okay, I am going to bring x over to the other side. It becomes x squared minus 1, and then I also have, take away x, which equals 0. I'm going to say x times x squared times that is x cubed minus x, which equals 0. That gives us x cubed minus 2x equals 0. I'm going to take out x as a common factor. I'm left with x squared minus 2, which equals 0. And now I have a product. Because I have a product, I can say either this is going to be 0 or this is going to be 0. It's like I'm saying A times B is 0, so either A is 0 or B is 0. So x is going to be equal to 0, or x is going to be equal to, x squared is minus 2 is going to be equal to 0. Which means x squared is going to be equal to 2 if I add 2 on both sides. Therefore, x is going to be equal to plus minus, because I'm taking the square root of 2. So if I take square root on both sides, x is going to be plus minus square root 2. Okay, which means that they are equal at the following points. They are equal where x is 0. So this point where x is 0, they're going to be equal there. They're also going to be equal where x equals plus square root 2. So when x is plus square root 2, I'm just going to quickly undo. So where x is plus square root 2, x is going to be plus square root 2. Where x is going to be minus square root 2, x is going to be minus square root 2. I also have to have then y values for those, because I'm looking for the coordinates. Where are they, right? Because my equation on the green graph is y equals x, it means if x is positive square root 2, y is square root plus minus square root 2. So my points will be positive square root 2, positive square root 2, negative square root 2, negative square root 2, 0, and 0. So that will be the 3 points where I have values.